Okay. So today we are going to start two lessons. Right? I will cover two lessons today. That is the communication and the transportation lesson. So these two lessons are comparatively easy, right? Compared to other lessons, other units. These two units are very simple. Making questions so good are taking right, taking questions so good are but comparatively मैं हमारे पार्ट तरफ के लिए इनपुट और frequent class questions के लिए इनपुट दिए थे लेकिन logistics के लिए logistics and warehousing part तरफ a part के लिए तो बड़ा questions right. So we'll start with this communication first. We'll eventually go towards the now. What is communication? Communication means hey. पता है मैं आपको पता है लेकिन आप यूजुअल कम्युनिकेट what are you communicating I'm not asking the question you might okay the content that you are sharing right I'm going to say what are you sharing huh? Idea how not sharing information right you share idea and information between two or more parties and this is what you call as communication right. So exchanging ideas and information from one person to another is what we call as communication. Now, when it comes to communication, see, there are two parties. Now, as you know, after the bus she's telling. Who is she? She's the sender. She is sending the message now. Father and Lauren. So the Lauren is the receiver. So when it comes to communication process, we have the sender, we have the receiver. Now, apart from sender and receiver, there are some other hidden elements, right? Sender, receiver are the hidden elements we have here. Then we have to know the that is what is that? The message. There were given you know things. Facts are done. We have a back. So what is that? Verbal communication. So that is your way or the medium, right? That is your mode or the medium that how you express your information, how you tell your ideas. That is what you call the mode or the way, right? Or the media, right? So the center message media, the receiver. Then Lorenta. Baiki आवे किधर क्यों करना पता नहीं तो वहाँ reply कर फिर नहीं not your reply but did you thought so that is your response and in return you send back something you gave a reply that is your feedback. Got it? एक reactor का response. A response से अभी reply का देना, reply का देना, feedback. Okay. So sometimes अभी हम हम दिने kita, right? Ada pagi दिने itu, ada orang kalau lagi kita ya sama. So that is your response. All message group का thumbs up कर देना, wow कर देना, super कर देना, thank you कर देना. So that is your feedback. I think what do you know? Look at it. How many? After the house, आज का हाल जरा की ना कर आज का हाल जरा के ना कर ये ना हुआ according to what I know is आज का हाल जरा के आज लव जरा के so but anyone and sorry was that very बड़ी बात है मैंने इन्हें ताप आटा वाली दोस्तों इन्होंने ताप दे रहे हैं दो के लिए आज का हाल जरा पर बना दिया आज का लव कर रही है. So that is the thing that time, right? I'm not thinking it. Not better than that. Look at my phone. Pura kaya next. Yeah. Now, you know, what the parties that is included, what the parties related to communication, of this communication we have discussed, right? Okay. Why is this communication important? First of all, I mean, communication has to have the resource control. Without communication, can we do resources? That right. Now, for example, what like how communication has influenced businesses. That's before 2000s, right? Before 2000, before 90s, right? 90s, 2000s in a period where did we have much of internet? Internet came over the internet, right? And came over the after internet, right? Due to the internet, right? Due to the evolution of internet, there were new business types, right? Other businesses in the right? For one example is Amazon. Amazon is like a pattern main reason about the Amazon is owner Jeff Bezos. What is he? He is a accountant, right? He is kind of a accountant. Right? Accountant job better and a statistical job better. He saw a report, right? A report a report to be statistical, right? The annual, what we call the internet usage, right? The annual internet usage or number of users in internet is increasing by 2,300%. Internet users, here is just for seeing not number of users. The percentage of users is increased by 2,300%. So it is so an opportunity, right? Internet take opportunity of bookshop. Right? They starting a bookstore. Amazon bookstore. They then world famous business when the way start what is this information? Information can communicate. Because idea internet internet use business due to internet communication media. Due to internet, now you are able to access his website. Now you are able to purchase goods and services. All because of communication. So this is good help. Okay. Now, what are the characteristics? Sorry, what are the importance of communication for business activities? One is to exchange ideas between parties and businesses. You are capable of exchanging ideas between parties and the business. Like business again, employees are in the business again, managers are in the information exchange ideas exchange. To maintain employee relationships, like both sides of the shape, communicating, like you need relation communication to maintain relationship. To manage human and physical resources well, then all the class this normal behavior, don't talk, but over right? You need to talk. That is human. Right? So that is human nature. To maintain what? Physical, right? And human relationships. Okay. For marketing and promotional activities, marketing buy this product, marketing, right? All the hand bill, marketing. What is that? They do communication for marketing purposes, right? Then they may once the other HP, right? HP logo, that is also what marketing. She is communicating. Sponsor HP, right? So that is also an idea that has been given to communication. For social activities, also you need communication to exchange messages socially, to know instantly about incidents that happen internationally, right? To get information needed for educational activities, to know about the information that comes with technological improvement, to build up social relationships, nationally and international. Then maybe what the news. Exchange files right after terminal. Exchange files are medicine. Donald Trump කියනවා aliens ලා ඉන්නවා. aliens ලා ඉන්නවා aliens ලාට data එක එළියට දාන්න කියලා කියනවා නෑ ඒක. ඒක කියලා. So that is one of the ongoing conversations in the global level. ඒක වඩා වෙනම තියෙනවා දන්නේ ඒක. මට අත්දැක ගන්න ඉතින් ඒක තව characteristics and factors for effective communication. Now we are communicating, yes, right? We do communicate. So when we communicate, the thing is, there are some factors that should be considered for communication to be. One is correctness. Here goes the rule. Right? It has to be accurate. Right? Accurate information share with data. Then, it's correct. But misunderstanding that when the pull. But ඔයාලා පොඩි කාලේ අහලා ඇති කතන් කරලා තියෙනවා ස්කාවතු මරන්න කියලා අන කරනවා ඒක මොකක් හරි ක්‍රමයකට හරි මොකක් හරි මාරු කරලා චේන්ජ් එකක් කියලා අහන්නද ටෙස්ට් එක ගත්තා රයිට් ඒක මම කනේ රයිට් කැරක්ටර්ස් නාලින් මම කරා රයිට් එකද දිනවා මරන්න එපා නිදහස් කරන්න කියලා කියන්නේ මරන්න එපා නිදහස් කරන්න so that is the word හැබැයි අර ක්‍රමයක දාන්නේ මරන්න කියන එකට එහාට මරන්න එපා නිදහස් කරන්න මරන්න එපා නිදහස් කරන්න right මරන්න කරන එපා නිදහස් කරන්න full stop එකක් තමයි කරේ චේත් අනේ මොකද පෙරලොන්ද අර correctness right මොකද ඒක නිසා අපි change කරන්න පුළුවන් පාඩකට misunderstanding එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් right okay number 2 completeness what you say should be complete right අතමාරට hold එකක් ගත්තා right Hello, kira after. Right? What is that? Not big, not the message is not complete. So you need to have complete messages. And the clarity, right? Clearness, messages, the politeness, even got 100 other then clear. Yeah. I want to learn that how for example. මම ඉඳලා කිව්වා මම අර කමෙන්ට් එකක් දානවා කිව්වා right අර කමෙන්ට් එකේ because he was complaining okay you are kind of rude and this and that and I said okay thanks noted thank you for noticing my reply කරනවා අනිත් පැත්තට මේකේ මට reply එකක් දානවා you should know how to talk to elders නේ මම ඔය මේ කමෙන්ට් දාන්න ලොකකට තාටියෙත් එක්ක නේ මම දන්නවා ඒ කියන්නේ වැඩි මාද බාලයිද කියලා I like this thing right? So it can't do like you have to be like that's so. The speed. Right. Other part the net. Message getting in the head. Right. So the messages has to be on the correct speed. Right. If it is something urgent, you have to make sure it is fast to the correct medium. To communicate it correct. Now, no class. I am sending a letter. Something maybe the class letter again. Then no class now what the pen is right? The speed has to be there. The cost has to right. So the cost is also we have to consider for how much it cost. That and if not done one, you are partner to like what's another subject of the right, that is the cost. The factors that has to be considered when preparing a message. When you are telling you something or you are typing something, when you are going to write some message to other parties, these factors has to be considered. The nature of the message. Like say, you want to tell something very quick. Like, if you want to tell something very quick. Okay, again, like office එකක් පස්සේ කියලා office එකක් පස්සේ රටේ ටිකක් right අපි අමිෂර එන්න කියන කවුද office එකේ finance manager කෙනෙක් එන්න ගියද්දි දැන් මොන තුමා කියන්නේ අර අමිෂර එන්න කියන්නේ දැන් මොන මොකද්ද අමිෂර පාස් කරන්නේ message එක you have to tell the message right අනවර boss එකෙක් වගේ nhưng mà tôi đi học đấy và nó không gì là đây quả và nó quả thì nó vẫn lại cái này là chưa là này thì mình phải đi cái nó phải theo là thì so that is what to learn right when you are preparing a message make sure that you want to say what you have to say right by adding another how you have to make up here the completeness you have to make sure the message is complete the politeness right the ability to understood by the receiver those things should be included when it comes to message, right? When it comes to providing message. Again, yeah, sometimes Yana can give us Asana, Sibunje, and see you, right? Then I say, well, Asana, Sibunje, and see you in a right? But you have to make sure when you are giving a message, right? When you are giving a message, then the message should be understood by every level of the organization. Right now, for example, we'll say we are having a office meeting, right? Office meeting is office meeting is this month we are not what do you call it, right? This month we are not achieved our KPIs, right? Our NPL rates are increasing, right? We have to work on this. Right? We have not achieved the KPIs this year, right? Our NPL rates are increasing. Well, we know that question can say, right? Okay, one keyword API class next keyword, right? API class next keyword, and then I said NP, right? But the tag is here, right? Tag is here, so can everyone understand these words? Right? No. There are not yet thing, now what is KPI? Key performance indicators, right? We have not achieved the key performance indicators. After achieving monthly target, monthly deposit target, monthly current account target, monthly fixed deposit target. So we have not achieved those. So that is what we have not achieved KPIs, key performance indicators. NPL. NPL is increasing. Non-performing loans. Non-performing loans can make. As of that, we have given loans. But in return, the person who took the loan is not paying that. So that is called NPL, non-performing loans. Non-performing loans are divided into the non-performing loans are divided into the. So, amount of their again, the non-performing loans are increasing. You have amount of share, but NPL you have share. So you have to make sure when you are communicating, everyone in the organization must understand what you are telling. So that is the thing that you have to remember. And now the next part. Communication can be done in 3 different ways. What are they? Verbal, written, and signed and symbol. All these verbal, written, and signed and symbol can be divided into 2 types as electronic, non-electronic. Written electronic, non-electronic. Sign and symbol electronic, non-electronic you have to divide that full. Now, give me an example for written non-electronic communication. So if the written non-electronic communication I can right sign and symbol non-electronic. Sign and symbol non-electronic. Both sides, right? So those are some communication media that we have, right? And some communication methods that we have. Verbal, written, sign and symbol, those stuff. So based on the context, right? Based on the context, these things will change. So I have here given some of the Verbal, written, and signs and symbols, internal, external, electronic and non-electronic examples. Right? Then, okay, written, non-electronic, I over there, internal, external, internal, external. One normal classification thing, eh? So that's what I have given here. So you can see under verbal, internal, external, they have clear. In internal, you have intercom. What is intercom? Intercom can work. Huh? Intercom can what is it? Intercom is Aisha? So intercom is like you were that one thing. Film that office like you have a telephone landline, you press one button. Call it. I know. Secretary call it. You press this one number, secretary call it. Another number, now peer card call it. Number card direct security guard call it. It is an internal line. Specific numbers are assigned for specific people, right? So that is what you call internal communication method, right? Obviously, internal. Taking a look, call okay. So that is intercom. So non-electronic examples you can have face-to-face interviews, conferences, meetings, those stuff. External, like you can have telephone, mobile phones, loudspeakers, voicemail. Verbal, non-electronic. Drum. I mean drum underwear right? Underwear information. Another thing another is the underwear information pass whether government is pass it from the government is maybe theater, right? Hey, communication of right? Yes, for a particular area, they are what you call all the internet connections are lost, right? They lost all the internet connections. I mean, this one the year that the government I am the dealer, right? The current is net, they got it. What the right? Maybe I have maybe the current, and maybe I have coming and right? So what is that? Communication method, right? Drum is used to communicate to the external parties. Yes, verbal, non-electronic, external communication. So, internal, external, right? Electronic notice boards, email, right? Those are internal. And memos, notices, notice boards, reports, those are in written, non-electronic. But external thing are facts, non facts, right? Like use and never email, electronic notice boards, SMS. SMS of the use and never. अंतिम काल SMS है क्या हाँ अधिक अंतिम काल SMS है क्या हाँ काल है right like यहाँ WhatsApp ने okay letters newspapers magazines banners posters gazettes right so those are written external non-electronic methods okay उदाहरण हर दिन signs and symbols, we have electronic mail, internal warning sign signals, non-electronic bell again, road signs, maps, directional footprints and external warning sirens, color lights, ambulance sirens, and packing symbols, railway, so road signals, umpire's distance, right? You have a website here, right? Traffic officers' movements, right? Traffic officers is also considered as an external non-electronic method. So then, electronic communication methods are there: internet, email, intranet, voicemail, fax, intercom. So internet, I don't want to explain. right? Email, my name, email I use for email, use right? Whatever email. Right, so you exchange electronic messages from one computer to another. Then never definition definition fill in the blanks or no. Fill in the blanks and saying what voicemail, right? A system where a verbal phone message is recorded, right? Voice recorder and fax, transferring documents, pictures instantly through ordinary telephone system using digital technology, right? So using fax, you can send pictures and those stuff, right? Intercom, right? With a private telephone network installed to exchange information in the organization. What are you? Barriers to effective communication and solutions. Now, the barriers that we have for effective communication. First one, poor knowledge of modern things. Now, let's say there is a farm, right? Farm at Poland, right? Poland farm at the time. Okay, what is that? Poland is Argentina also is the right? Paligan and right? So you can't one of them as now let's say there's a farm at a particular rural area. How many have you got? So government subsidy, right? The government is giving them a subsidy. Subsidy government taking or subsidy email like form subsidy, right? Fill the email that we have sent you and get your subsidy. The email right? And they are right? Unable to communicate with other parties due to the lack of technical, right, or technological literacy, right? So modern knowledge can done. Yeah. External equipment barriers. Now, when it comes to the aircraft, right? 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 So, but the thing is, signal okay? So, external equipment barriers, that can do those things. And maybe you are using outdated systems, right? Outdated systems can be the phone like WhatsApp, right? Smartphone use use 6S. I don't know 6S is no longer capable of running WhatsApp phone. WhatsApp then another meaning, right? So those are outdated systems. So must take a one like Apple media adapt right? Process barriers, weak communication plans, like unlimited internet packages. Them adapt signal speed right? So language and attitude problems. Right? The hardship develop after it was both that it was a so what is that? Language problems. The inability to understand other people. Right? Now language problem, one and then the good team right? The good language problem. But nothing, right? There are some students I have met, right? English guys, I can't use signal at all. Enggak 15 kilo lama, enggak ada apa. Boleh mana kan? Boleh mana? Mana saya bilang mana? Sama kan tim mana? Tinggal benar juga, enggak lah. Baik, they can understand single bit. Lama ya, jadi lagi na, turun lagi beda gini lah. Dari mana beda gini lah mana? Bus stand ni boleh tinggi lah, tidak ada. Ganti uti. Hah? Hah? Tahu? Tahu tak tu? Bus stand ni boleh tinggi lah, tidak ada. Ganti uti. Baik. Apa namanya? Agi untuk bus stand dan railway station dan yang ganti uti. So with those people you can't communicate. Teaching them is very hard. And uh, uh, boleh tanya apa lagi? Ini mana itu dia pasang dia no, dia try kalau dia no.
Oh, ya teman sih.
Lepas itu
Kita sampai nanti nanti bicep program.
apa kayak bayar dia? Boleh lagi.
Makin cool.
Ini kamu lagi?
Enggak. Nih, jadi.
Hah? And sometimes there can be attitude problems. Another, after that, mama tadi nak kamu lagi gaya lah mereka attitude problem. Saya apa orang mungkin orang attitude. Ini apa ini? Now, even boys are right. Now, you feel like kalau kita kata kalau kita mana ini kebanyakan orang punya betul kata. Apabila ini, right? There is attitude problem, right? Mereka sama itu produk sarana yang mengalih plastik bagian mana kita makan di jalan lagi mana baik? Selfish. Okay. So what is that? Now, even though we right, are told that product change the government, right? Apa tak told that change the government mengalih plastik. Ini juga ini mata kerja, not neither are experience, of course, right? Not neither are, yeah.
Wait, here.
Not my mother not experience that any cost, right? Not like that. Ahara jaga tinggal shopper ko, right? Ahara jaga tinggal orang siapa, right? So attitude problem. Now, even again, when I was at grade 10 or 11, 10, right? Grade 10 or school, right? Here sports meet, right? Sports meet, we are right? When it comes to sport, I was a prefect at that, right? The sport meet ये also मागे जितना स्कोर दार शुरू करेंगे एक kan स्कोर जितना स्कोर का आगे kan हम ले ताता काम तो मिले right ये सारे जितने ताता काम में माजी लोग को कनेक्ट करते हैं मैं स्पोर्ट मीट ने किया ना दिखाने जितना kan तो शुरू करती एक अंदाज नहीं किया डिफेक्ट में that was our man हमें 12 दिन मिसकनेक्ट किया right उसके हम man right right and aim is like aim is other right aim is other ना ऐसे नहीं करते और sports meet में अनसबत करना मैं इतना ताकत दाग है ना ಅದು ಉದಯ ಇದ್ರೆ मैं ಕಳ್ಳದ ಇತ್ತು ಅದು ಉದಯ ದಾಂಗ मैं ಇತರ ದಾಂಗ ನಾನು ಇದರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಇದರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಒಬ್ಬದಾನಿಗೆ ಆ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ನೇ ಹೋಗೋದೇನೆ ಏನೇಂಟದು ನಾನು ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಓವರ್ ಡಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ में यार मामा का किया ले आया किया सर माटे एक वाले नागन से एक मामा so we have the attitude problems and when now we need this question right we had attitude problems with teachers at school so ultimately that private batch का दौरा है इंडोर ना right so that is due to miscommunication right that is due to miscommunication attitude problems and no and you have the elements okay and external environmental barriers So they are kind of done. Okay. अरे उधर ना आप बैठ यहाँ क्या ఏం కదండి సుదూర్ బాకి రా అనేక ఇది అలాగే రైట్ Now, how can we overcome these barriers, right? These are the barriers that we have. How can we overcome this? Use of modern equipments, right? Now, use of modern equipments. Not the modern equipment. Right? The Starlink, right? Now, Starlink, you know what it is, right? Think that's not Starlink, right? So now, this is a form of satellite internet, right? The internet that dial-up provides, orbital provides is through the towers. But instead of towers, we can go for satellite method, right? Satellite internet use by using Starlink. Okay. So, like to places that you don't have signal at all, right? हमारे एरिया से एक ने polite से right? You don't have signal, right? Signal is operator. So what you can do is you can use Starlink to get a signal, right? So we can use modern equipment. Impose communication rules and regulations. What are the rules and regulations that you have imposed in communication rules? Maybe at a particular school they say speak only in English. Right? Speaking only in English. If not, they are not done. Okay? Or else done. Not only in English. Sierra, okay. Now, setup of communication towers, like after the this disaster, right after this disaster, the government and the dialogue they have planned on putting up new towers, right? Alternate towers that they are designing now. So that is one thing, right? Setting up communication towers. Use of digital technology. I don't have to tell you regarding what digital technology is. Taken a position at Kivala, right? But only got the kid with the mind. Every day, I am looking at the reader. Compare rules on the misuse of these methods, right? They have to make sure, and the government has to make sure that they impose necessary rules and regulations when coming to this usage of communication media. Then, when it comes to Facebook, right? When it comes to Facebook, they have what? Community guidelines, right? They have community guidelines to control your speech. You have the freedom of speech, but you have a control there. If you say something or if you post something beyond their community guidelines, your account will get banned. So again, all restrictions are right. Okay, so those are rules and regulations that they have imposed. Or sometimes messages and the report karan spam account blocked, right? So what is that? Guidelines. You can't message another person in a disturbing way, right? So those are some guidelines that we have to follow. It was all rules and regulations. All now if you call someone, कट करना I done it call someone अनिता तीन माणूस कट करना I done it they will call that right? When they are free they will call that ये मैंने तो मैं कर देखता है वाटन ना काम तो और करना नहीं हाँ या हाँ इसी अड़के ही नहीं तो पहले right आदिस्य अड़के इतना बटा right ये कॉल करना नहीं वाला कॉल ये लोग क्या है हाँ so those things happen then what else mulai dia tuh dia kiranya kemarin kita me kira sirgo me ingat me ahan lagu kira nasi jadi apa enggak ngasih pokoknya me hata bayar kita pasti apa gitu lah bukan tapi kalau hal dia ada bayar ini mana reply kan right itu mana nih right so you have some shit to say then and that is right nah ini kan ID right okay. So those are some strategies how we can overcome these communication barriers. Now, based on the based on the type of media that we use, we have advantages and disadvantages. Verbal, written, signs and symbols. When you are using verbal, the thing is ability to present in details through discussion. Now, here I have given you a written document. This is a document, printed document. This is also communication. If you want class की आवाज़ में document के लिए क्या क्या करूँ? हाँ, और मैं क्यों के लिए ना और क्यों करने का क्या करूँ? आई मैं दाम explain कर. To give a better understanding, right? To give a better understanding, I am explaining this. So that is the advantage of verbal. अब written लेके दिख रहा था, हमारा किया था. ना मतलब brings provider and the receiver closer and it's fast and confident. मनमोहन क्या चीज़ है पता क्या क्या confidence. You can prove it. You can prove it. Kalau misalnya kena dua gitu, dan mana uji yang ada recording dikit. Example dari ada recording, right? So disadvantages is language problems, right? Dari jember mana gimana? Mari kita. Dia mana? Purina. Right. So language problems. Difficulty with verbally weak parties. Right? Ekko gulu, right? Gulu kan tina nanti hari kasaran mereka tina. Samaran mana dari prasasti tina right? Dari lah. Right? So those things, right? Difficulties verbal parties. No proof of transmission. No proof. Like, हमारा आगे की पेपर की होती ना, वाला पास ना, right? आगे इसी अंदर कांति का की. वाला एग्जाम पास ना, एक दस्त हम पिक्चर आ जाना के मुंगे रिजल्ट आ लगा मर मैसेज दाराना सर दो पिक्चर हम ज्यादा है ना यार हम कहते हैं मैं का क्यों नो प्रूफ में so those are disadvantages when it comes to I didn't say anything that I'm giving I didn't say that I'm not giving you anything right one recording thing I had on the argument and better right then another thing is now this is important when you are going for deals with your friends right now आधारी बड़ों के मत यार भी कटिंग करना अभी आधारी कटिंग मन क्या अरे यार उसको ओ यार भी मार सकते ओ अभी बिल लगा करते हैं वारंटी कार्ड दे करते हैं यार भी टेढ़ पोड़ने के लिए यार भी टेढ़ मारता गाइड करते हैं ताकि एक तरह मत वाकर ले जाओ जब मांगे वाली मार कर दे कोई ना दे तो वारंटी क्या होता है अनुकूल लोग ने वारंटी है you are one day warranty I am good say I am good given you can't prove right so you need to have then make written form right लिखित वाली form तमा ये वाला लिख में नत्तान बड़ी देती है क्यों वे नया माता करने ऐसे हिंदी से करना right written can provide greater detail, act as proof, right? It's to transmit data like graphs, right? Now, if I tell a large value number, వాళ్ళే మనకి කියන්න right? ඔළුවට යන්නේ. If I give you a high value number, මගේ number එක ඔයාලට කිව්වට ඔයාලට එකපාර උඩට යන්නේ right? මම බිඳුව දෙක අනු දෙක අතර 780 කියලා කිව්වට දැන් ඔයාලට තරයි කිව්වට ඔයාලට තේරෙනවද? It's my phone number. Now the thing is, right? Now what are the things that are written? But if it is like verbal intimate, they can now as soon as someone tells the phone number, yeah, right? Phone number is clear, yeah, meeting phone number is clear, bus air phone number clear, so why is that? Mataka meeting keyword as hearing is right? Right? So there once okay yaad hai the high class right yeah bus එක යනකොට මේ කොල්ලෙක් ෆෝන් නම්බර් එක රුපියල් 20 කොලේක ලියන්නේ උඩ අදිස්සිය උඩ අදිස්සිය කොලේක දාලා තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඔය ෆෝන් නම්බර් එක කොලේක ලියන්නේ සාදි කොලේ රුපියල් 20 කොලේක කියලා දෙන්නේ. එහෙම සිනුත් තියෙනවා right? පන්දාවල කොලේකගේ දුන්නොත් මේ කියන නම්බරේ අරගෙන ඊළඟ සතිය හම්බුත් කිය මේ මට ආ නම්බරේ නැතිව නෑ තාපන්නකට දෙන්න. ඒ පළවෙනි සතිය 5000 වලින් අපිට දෙන්නා. ඊළඟ සතිය කියනවා මේ නම්බරේ නැතිව ආයෙ. තාපන්න. Difficulty in understanding. Now, for example, අපේ කාලේ මම මතක නැහැ අපේ දෙයක් ගියා කිව්වනේ අතුරු දිනා මම කියව ගන්න. මගේ අතුරු මට කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මගේ අතුරු අනිත් කෙනෙක් කියන්න බෑ. සහ මේ මතක නැහැ මොනගේද කාගෙද කියලා. fine. आपको आपको प्लान कौन लोग क्लास का ओह सीरियस क्या हो गया ये आपको क्लास चल रही है क्या तो है मुझे आप सुन रहे हो बोलो बोलो लगे मुद्दा के आप क्या ओह सीधा आंसर अति पता है तेरे को ओके आपको पता है आने एक कर सोती नहीं सर आज जब निकाल दे बोल गई Jangan habis. Ya. Sudah ke mana dulu deh. Jadi mana? Pandai. Udah ya, ada apa mas? Baik, so that is difficult thing. You can distort information. Distort kind of learning. Lagi ini ada arsitek awalnya college. Liu mang kenal hello. Okay, wait. Fine. Liu mang kenal deh. Hari. Mati dah. Tentang itu favorite. Apa itu? Apa lagi kita? Apa lagi kita? Right. We will say there is a person called Samantu. Samantu. Samantu Mara is a close friend for us. Are you close friends? Okay. Then you know, and how do I go there? Ask you that is our no need that. I like any kata karne that. Like, do you want to know how to sound? Someone who wants letter you know, letter guy, couple of guys, yeah, letter run by. You have to be able to like. Better than available, we can do it. Put to you. Io quando le posso to give it to Harshi along with the candles of Kit Kat chocolate whatever, right? Saman Kumar Madhuri. Saman Kumar, other something I not saying. It's not this. Right? The more than equal. Let it up to let it give the Kumar again. मैं आप बोल रहा हूँ मैं आप ढूंढना आगे किम थे ओके आम दी मर्डर तमाम पुस्तक कुमार है पुस्तक कुमार मिलता है सामान कुमार है हाथ से राइट so what happens that we are distorting right we are distorting the messages which are here the name our distort करना change करना pull akurat यहाँ ध्यान करना ये वाला pull right so that is the understanding now there but नहीं
Sir, we can use these type of examples so
exam में किया सामान कुमार उसके बाद ये हाँ काउंटर तुम्हारे वीडियो में पकड़ना था signs and symbols brief and clear I have easy to understand but those are advantages disadvantages is problem for those with sight impairment the mariner का aspect में सुनील का aspect माता का aspect में right आमी शान खाती अपने aspect में खानदार के पिंड लगा sight and symbol देखा पहला right if there is sight impairment वहाँ पे right miscommunication if distorted over time there was Scooby you want Scooby already when there is two roads right when there are two roads right मैं कहते हैं यहाँ पालो उसको मैं कहते हैं यहाँ खाली playground करती right तो Scooby यार टाइम नो ना मैं कहते हैं अरे ऑलरेडी बोल रहा है और मेरे पास भी ना साइड में मेरे पास नंबर कौन what is that distortion of signs and symbols over the time और बोर्ड के कला बिल्ला यहाँ भी ना having ना right ये वाले अगर ना so that is distortion of signs and symbols सामान्य कारण ना कहाईला तिम्बा right हमारे एरिया से कहाईला तिम्बा यार ये कहाईला आवाज़ दुकान दिया तो कहाईला नहीं कहाईला भी हाँ कहाईला that's it then license दी ना license दी ना license दी ना license दी ना दी ना happy to leave then हमारे क्या है on road when car is right on the road when you are traveling right वो भी ये ना side में का दिल्ली कार है सारा तो मैं पांच दिन कहाँ पर मोड क्या नहीं मैंने किया कार की पास मैंने फिर साइड किया तो दोबारा बिना कोड करती है बात है बिना कोड करती है बात ऐसे करता है एक साइड में कोड होगा हाँ ना अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाँ इस तरह अंडरस्टैंड बसने का दिए ना क्या लगे भाई ताऊ मैंने अंडरस्टैंड बसने का मेहनत की है अंडरस्टैंड बसने का मेहनत की है राइट ये यार थोड़ी सुबह वर्कआउट की ना ते सुबह प्रोटीन किया ना स्ट्रेंथ क्रॉसिंग याद की ना आर्म ना पेटना ये ना के वैसे मैंने बोला ना कि राइट खत्म जाने का वेट है क्रॉसिंग निकाल मेरी सुबह बड़ी वर्कआउट की राइट सो इट गिव्स आईडिया दैट देयर इज अ क्रॉसिंग अबे लाइसेंस दैट हमें क्या बोलता है नहीं अगर मैं देते हैं तो बड़ा के बाहर की right so those things can happen right okay so that is all about communication part of the thing all right so some other questions taken yeah Glass is glass and
Yeah.
I just saw you on the stage. That's not what they do. X column following table shows communication media and Y column shows the communication methods. If you match this accordingly, what is the correct answer? If you match this, what is the answer? Second one, you see, we A2 and 3, A will the overall vector 2 and 3, okay? Overall voicemail voicemail goes to electron. Right, voicemail goes to electron. Overall meetings and discussions. So that is 2 and 7. 2 and 7 in 2 and 7 is there in first one and third one. 2 7 is there in first one and third. Yeah, third one. B written letters and memos, right? 1 and 5. 1 and 5 within the 1 negative, third negative. Electronic, voicemail, and pages, right? Voicemail and pages. What is pages? Pages then, eh? Like pages is like now available, right? Like Parnagala, right? Parnagala Adhikala body technique like if you want to call someone, pages kila body device right? Taking the if someone wants to call me, take a ring. You can't talk with that, right? You can't talk with that. Any other miss call like a ring someone has to talk to us here. Or in all Parana movies are anything, right? Parana English movies are anything, pages here. Because after that, if someone wants to call us, you will get a ring or a deep beep back. That is what we call it. Huh? No, it's just like a දැකලත් නෑ ආත මූවිස් එක තමයි දැකලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිකන් පොඩි ෆොටෝවක් වගේ තියෙන ස්ක්‍රීන් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ ස්ක්‍රීන් එකේ කවුද කෝල් කරන්නේ නැත්නම් කවුද කතා කරන්නේ කියන එක අපිට මැසේජ් එකක් ඩිස්ප්ලේ වෙනවා. අර පාර කැෂුවල්ස් තියෙන්නේ. රයිට් පාර කැෂුවල් චෙක් එකේ. නිකන් black and white අපරෝලින් විතරක් පෙන්නනවා විතරයි. So this was multiple calls. අනේ වගේ එකක් තමයි page එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ. Right? So the answer will be electronic voicemail and pages. So that is first one. The answer is first one. A manager wishes to communicate a large quantity of detailed information. What is the most appropriate communication method for this purpose? 5. Yes, reports. Report is the correct method that we can use to communicate large amount of data. After graphs, sales reports, financial statements by using a report. So other methods you can't go for detailed explanations. Third one. Which of the following is a drawback of email and widely used electronic communication method? May create a sense of isolation. When you are using email, my computer can right? Interaction right? So there can be a sense of isolation. Blank and blank are two factors considered when completeness and correctness. So completeness and correctness are two factors considered when preparing an effective message. The speech made by the CEO addressing other managers at the organization, monthly progress review meeting can be called as a internal as well as a verbal communication method, right? It is the internal verbal communication method. The board with the arrow which shows emergency exit in an organization can be considered as blank and blank communication method. Considered as sign and symbol communication method. While a letter sent to the customer by the organization can be considered as sent to the customer by the organization. Written external communication method. Written external communication method. It's a written external communication. Seven. Bimal likes deliver speeches. His speeches are usually lengthy. He uses very complex words in his speeches, and sometimes he insults people. Bimal ने हाथ में साइड कर दिया उसकी but okay. He is present his opinion very confidently, but some information are false. However, his style of speaking is attractive. Based on the information, how many characteristics of an effective communication have been violated by you? His speech is lengthy. He uses complex words. He insults people. His information is false. But yet, lengthy, complex, insults people, false information. Right? So there are four. A converting process of idea into message is called no. That answers nothing, right? When the maker, right? Right? It is called encoding, right? And then diagram right communication process right? So first we have what the sender. Then we have the message. Then we have the medium. And then from the medium we go to the receiver. And then the receiver gets the message. Once they get the message, they will respond. After they respond, they will provide a feedback. And this feedback will be received by the sender. Now the thing here is the sender is compiling the message, right? The sender is compiling the message. For this compilation, this part, right, we call it as our project, we call it as encoding. You call it as encoding. And when the receiver gets this message, the receiver has to understand. This understanding part is what we call as decoding. And this is the entire communication process. And this is the entire communication process. Also they are what I call correctness, completeness. Converting a process, right? Converting process of idea into a message is called encoding, and the process of converting that idea to the receiver by the receiver is called decoding. एक दाने फर्स्ट दाने का encoding, second दाने का decoding. The last one. Statement A says important and complex information can be communicated even verbally. In addition to verbal communication, it is important to communicate such information in writing. Out of the above statements, Which one is correct? B. Important complex information can be communicated even verbally. This partially okay, right? And I make a math. Our 100% okay there. Now, for example, can you tell about the financial statement on another person? Financial statement takes superior target for a current number. Then, so it is complex. The complex information you can't share like that. So we'll go with the statement B is correct. Right. Here. 3, 4, that's 17. Important complex verbally verbally written right? Written document a statements verbally understand like verbally understand written name so based on that we can say both A and B is correct. A is elaborated through B, right? A guy B guy B again A elaborate color B. Okay. So next transportation, but before we go to transportation, right? All the housing. Right? Unemployment buddy or buddy unemployment buddy I think so the next one that we have to discuss is regarding transportation, right? We are going to discuss transportation. The typical class, next class, right? All right. Okay. Now the next topic is regarding the transportation, warehousing, and logistics. Okay. Now the transportation part is very simple. The transportation is very simple. The basic things that you have learned in your O levels as right. O levels and right. Now transportation is a system which is developed through several balanced elements acting as an essential support system for businesses. Okay. In transportation, right? What are the elements of transportation? The way, mode, power, terminal, right? Those are the four basic elements when it comes to transportation. Way means what? The road thing. It can be the airway, right? It can be the waterways, it can be the railway, right? Those are ways. Mode means the particular vehicle that you are traveling, right? It can be a car, lorry, bus, aircraft, ship, etc. Terminal means the place where the mode is parked or located, right? Nothing airports, harbor, right? It was a railway station, right? So those are the terminals that we have. And power is the fuel or the energy that is used for the particular transportation mode. Okay, so those are the very basic things. Now, when it comes to a country, right? When it comes to a country, in order to call that a country has a balanced transportation method, right? If a country has a balanced transportation method, we have to make sure we develop all these four. And right now, we have to develop all these four types of elements. Okay, develop for example, let's say, let me medium and on the luxury gas like R block the block like crosswise block the block Brazil maybe BMW the Brazil yeah so that is what mode, right? That is mode. The mode is top notch, right? Top notch vehicles I mode superi. Away, I'm not about bar put up. Oh, bar, I'm not here bar, man. Like, in a Yata, what that kind of right? So that means the way is not active. Then the electric cars are the DYD, right? That's our bowl of one way of everything about it. Like, taking the electric cars. Electric cars are the Minusu Duran by, right? People are not willing to drive long distance. Why? Available at the beginning and the under the lesson return. What in our return, why? You don't have charging stations. So what is the problem with that? That is power, right? The power is a problem. You have the you have sophisticated vehicles, electric vehicles, but you have the range anxiety. Range anxiety again, right? So that means the power is not optimized power. But now when it comes to this other countries, foreign countries, our car के dashboard के पेट्रोल Google Maps के पेट्रोल charging station खोल के Lanka lectures charging stations there are city areas are zero. But when it comes to rural areas, you are unable to find charging any stations. So that is the problem that we have regarding the power. And terminal. Terminal is somewhat is middle ground side. Somehow that was another this is there with the Nikam buster. Right. As a very face any. That's it there now. Right. What I got I think harder. You know the only that not only that is the right. So that is a what do you call a terminal. But when it comes to some areas, right, Samar Gativala, on the terminals, right? For example, the popular Poland station there size station there bridge but not the fort. Nine driving Delhi. Nine driving DL right? Bumble is saying bridge. On the car, father, what you want to right? So I want that and my sir, I left out of the evening or party so I did this one. Come there again. Right. So that means that both terminals are not at the optimum level. But now when I'm porting other right? Fourth station photo station another right. So photo station it was stand bigger. There was another one. Maybe if you see you know like upgrades complete that available. Right. So those are terminals. The government has to make sure the terminal, the way the power, all these things are there. Right. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Unexplained unexplained advantage, disadvantage. Right, bus another, both another. I don't want to explain it. Now, when you are choosing a transportation mode for your business, what are things that you have consider. You have to consider the nature of the goods, the cost, the speed, and the distance. For example, if you are transporting ice cream, what should you think? Ice cream transport the cooling systems, right? Ice cream storage, land mass ice cream ice cream right? So, like if you want to transport vegetables, what is the method that you have to use? Right? If you want to transport something from the exact destination, and Matona, house like the Hariva. After the Tamana, but Gochi and Gochi name like it was happening, Matik like the Taran, Atik like the Taman, he got a Bastina. We got a bus. So, here are problems. So I have to choose what is the mode, what is the what do you call it? The way that I have to choose, right? Based on the distance, right? I mean, something comes from India, right? India, you know, na boat right? Ship come up, man. But something comes from England. I thought I ship so then later, plane so but sometimes ship plane transport cost based on the context, these things differ. Right? Based on the context, these things differ. So you have to make sure you understand properly. So which particular setup you have to choose which one. So those things has to be considered. The capacity, safety, right? Those are other factors that you have to consider which safety can transport. So those things are very simple. So I am moving quickly into the warehousing part. Right. Now, warehousing. Warehousing is the process of, right? Warehousing is the process of keeping aside or storing the goods, right? Warehousing is the process of storing the goods until you take it for consumption or for production. Wow, goods take raw materials take production, consumption now stock goods so stock warehousing. Now, it says the process of storing and preserving stocks from buying, manufacturing until they are sold or distributed. There's a process, right? Once you receive your goods, right? GRN, right? GRN means GRN means GRN means goods received. No, right? GRN means a good received good. Once you receive the goods, right? Goods received. Once you receive the stocks now, first what you have to do, you have to identify that goods identify make a update order the nigga card up identify the goods one of production plant identify. Then you have to inspect. Is it according to our particular requirements and our requirement then inspect. You have to verify. Purchasing manager maybe order you have to verify, right? Then you have to ensure the quality of this product. Are these goods up to a particular quality? You have to verify. And then once the verification is done, quality checking is done, you have to put it there. Right? Production right? So that is putting up. And later, when you are using it, you retrieve for issue. Retrieve for issue means you take it for the consumption. So first one, receipt of stocks, identification, inspection, verification, ensuring quality, putting away, and retrieving the stocks. Right. So those are the steps of warehouse processing. वो सामान्य explain करना के right? Okay, steps step sometimes and yeah, steps sometimes දැන් අපි කියමු goods එනකොට GR එන්නම්. අපි අපේ සේල් එකක් කරාට පස්සේ goods ටික යවුවට පස්සේ මොකද දාන්නේ? goods ටික යවුවට පස්සේ අපි කියනවා එකට GDN එකක්. Right? GRN means goods receipts. GDN means goods delivery. No. goods ටික right. මම අමිෂර් සෙල් කරා, මම අතීක සෙල් කරා, මෙච්චරක් සෙල් කරා කියලා note එකක් දෙනවා. Right? So that is what we call a GDN. කරනවාද කාද? තගානේ නම්බර් එක දෙන්න.
What are very good things?
Something fish. Right. Factors for locating a warehouse. Now, warehouse is a place where there is no goods. So then we have to understand certain factors when we are going to locate a warehouse. One is the layout or the layout and the flow of the building, right? Layout and the flow of the building. Now, for example, right? Layout and the flow of the building. Now, for example, we'll say this is the the location that we have is our location. And the location after containers, right? Containers are in the mass oxygen. Right? Containers are in the mass oxygen. The containers are මේ container එක අතන රට ඉඳ තියෙනවා. මම මේ වගේ දවස් විතරයි නම් කියන්නේ. දැන් මෙයාගේ දවස් තියෙනවා container එකේ බලවේග ගන්න පුළුවන්. So you have to make sure your warehouse does have those facilities. Right? යාගේ layout එක හරියට හදලා තියෙනවාද? අපි දැන් මේ container එක ඇතුළට එනවා. right? container එක මෙන්න මේකෙන් ඇතුළට එනවා. right? The actual आपको container नहीं करे, नहीं डालना सर, नहीं डालना reverse करेगा नहीं, the reverse करना है, why? 20% out multiplier. So that means layout is not optimized for. Okay, so you have to make sure container container goods stickers bar one, and then the what? There has to be room, there has to be space for the container to leave as well. Young name facilities team, right? In and out facilities team and Halil. I don't know what must be. Warehouse has optimized control. And so make a container and off. A car use करना है, people passing now to my house right food. It is troublesome, like harder. So you have to make sure you have proper terminals to take in and out those vehicles. And then what else? You should make sure that you say you should properly segregate or separate your spaces. Right? Our warehouse space is manage करना. Now, for example, when a warehouse again, right? Here what we have is all the raw materials. Here in the middle process, right? You do the production. Method all production is right? Here you get all the raw materials, right? Raw materials. Raw materials method retrieve karna, you use it for the production. And you use it for the production. Once you do the production, you keep the outputs in this particular place. May output take the method. Right? Then raw materials item out method the critical production in the garden. Outputs take method in locate karna. Outputs take a leader terminal. Right? That is according to order. Now what if, right? Right? Raw material foreign batch the second batch is here. The third batch is here. One production unit is here, right? One other production unit is here. Output का दिया गया ना method, right? Output का method दिया गया. Output का method दिया गया. वागे raw material input का क्या method? Output का क्या method? method था output का. Now it is everywhere, right? The raw materials, the work in progress, the finished products. It is everywhere. Now your location, your warehouse is not optimal at the moment. So you have to make sure you should not go for a space like this. You have to optimize your space properly and you have to keep your stocks accordingly. Optimum use right? So you have to think about the layout and the flow of the building. Zoning and the intensity of use, right? How often are you going to use this? Right? How often are you going to use this? Again, daily basis, ministry have right? Like factory class machines the ministry you have to have that understanding. How often are you going to use this? Right? Ministry but you have to accident answer. So have to think about that. Proximity to major linkages. How much long will it take to take the goods from the warehouse to the hub? How much time it takes from the warehouse to the airport? What about warehouses again? Patna right? Patna it was a highway highway container dockyard से within right? warehouse transport right? Transport right? And material handling capabilities. Whether you have machines, facilities to handle proper machineries. Now, ice cream warehouse ice cream factory ice cream store refrigerators like AC if it is a motor vehicle spare parts, right? If it is regarding motor vehicle spare parts, stock current facilities racks Australia. Think about that. If it is like heavy goods, right? If you are transporting heavy goods, even other machines, right? Pallet jacks, right? Right? The conveyor belts, right? Those things, so that is those. The nature of the stock, the cost of the warehouse, those things has to be considered when you are locating a warehouse. Oh, come back to us. Oi, come on, kian no, again, no car, no people, no gun, for 50.
last in the
Oh,
mana tiya call chal ki room mein yaar
group oh, on the thing is, on Thursday I have classes for gaming at 6 o'clock. Right? Fast break around 6:30. The mama can't go to the in the bed.
exam
Right,
alright.
various warehouse various ways to store like in a warehouse. First one is the pallet truck. What is a pallet truck? Pallet truck can work. Pallet truck you want to see whether you will now when you go to a hard disk, right? Or a hard disk is not rock in a rock or a Barbian, right? If a rock is a pallet track, someone not does that. Pallet tracks, right? He may active, right? Academic he may active. Then we call it as a pallet flow. There is a pallet track a set of parallel tracks, we call it as a parallel flow, right? Then block stacking. Then gadol नहीं होगा here. Gadol solve कर दिया है इनको. एक आध पड़ेगा. That is block stacking. एक आध पड़ेगा क्या कर? हाल हाल बनते हैं ना हाल दिया कि हाल बैग की हाल बैग की एक आध पड़ेगा तो स्टॉप करना. So that is what we call as block stacking, right? So that method is also used. And then there is pushback tracks, right? Pushback track is also something similar to this parallel tracks. Only thing is, in the pushback tracks, you have kind of wheels, right? The actually what are wheels thing? Are all acronym of the names? Forklifts like forklift. Forklift again. The forklifts come here. Forklift again. Training hooks are right? First stop the first stop middle, right? The first stop comes to the first, right? Second stop the may stop when the maybe the palan wheels see running and the maybe wheels see. Since you have wheels, you can push it here, push back, you push back, and then the second stop is now this. And now third stop again, on third stop again the method the first stop method. You know 5-4 method. What is 5-4? First in, first out. Now let's say now the first item that you input is here. Now you want to take it back. Any the you metal did metal did it was made the no. Then you need item yeah. Right. So that is what you call the first in, first out method when it comes to first inventory control, right? Only item the item method can be second item method third item method. The first input was this. If you want to take it back, you have to take it from the other side of the rack. This is what we call the 5-4 method. So there is pushback tracks. Measuring. What's the measuring? Then may in become measuring like wage, right? Not exact measuring, measuring wage. Then power that the thing ये बाहर रख के दाग नंसा क्लास प्रमाणे दिया ये क्लास दमन बस तावड़ी स्लैब बैक का ता तक कर दा लेकिन अभी नहीं टाइम टू same thing happening in a measuring. In a measuring you have the ground flow, right? Then coming make it right make flow again अभी कानो हमारे boxes, right? अभी glass boxes, right? We'll take glass boxes, right? Glass boxes, method in the example, they can keep only 5, right? The block stack they can throw up to 5. When a method in the method stop random. Once you stop another, when you stop on top of this, Yakati can. Yakati glass box can now already. So out of the entire space, you can use only up to this height. Then we can do the height wasted. Right? You would height you would not case graphic not wasted. So what you can do? You can come up with the entire another slab. Yakada slab right? Yakada slab yakada face A could I talk about structure. Like for example, now this let's say this is the ground floor. The ground floor you can stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or natural structure and warehouse space remain, right? Or warehouse space remains. Make routine may take so you can only use the warehouse up to this level. So it is not going to be profitable. So what you do, you come up with another layer, right? 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 Then once again, you put 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And make it just stop. So this particular thing, right? This particular one is this particular extra additional slab. This is what we call a mezzanine. Right? Mezzanine. And then there is automated storage systems, right? Mechanical arms are control, right? Robotic arms are in good. Okay. So arms controlled by computers. Shock and removal of materials, ideal for small items, right? Okay. And then we have to discuss the next part, that is logistics. Logistics is the planning and implementation of efficient flow of goods, services, and information forward and backward from origin to the consumption, right? From the origin to the consumption. That means, right? Logistics means, right? And logistics here on the area, right? Now, if I ask what do you want to do after A levels, like the whole, I'm going to be accountant. Chartered accountant, chartered accountant, and become here, right? CSC. Or else everyone is no. Is there, right? Or else someone would say, no, I would become a marketing. Or a HR, right? You want to be a HR, right? Okay. Now, one of the good area, one of the good area that you can go further is this logistics, right? Supply chain management, logistics management, any pattern number one, whether better than 13 errors, right? Nobody demand that team, right? I'm over CEA, I'm over marketing, I'm over HR, HR man नहीं रहेगा, HR नहीं रहेगा, accountant नहीं रहेगा, marketing करती रहेगा, right? Then TikTok account करती ना हमको marketing कराने, right? So marketing is separated, accounting is all. I'm not telling you can't earn, you can earn. Now one of my cousins, he graduated from Japura, accounting Japura out to yeah, then why again? The monthly salary is 10 lakhs. The monthly salary is 10 lakhs, right? Madada, Auda, Auda price, Dubai company finance. So he did chartered as well, chartered and ACC. So by that, he is currently somewhere around that. Now, make a finance, right? The responsibility is also high. Now, Oka Anipatra, all better field here and not Pulu, right? Better field here and not Pulu, some Samar Ratin, chartered Kerala, bank Kerala, Tama, Hatta, Badi Gatti, right? Chartered Kerala, bank Kerala, Hatta, Badi Gatti, right? Finance, so that is based on your skill and those stuff, right? Now, logistics part, the supply chain management, that is also a good area if you can go. Try to huh? And then normally that's why I can having a finance can right? And then finance can go like this, right? Everyone will become a CEO. Laziness. Now, okay. Types of logistic systems. Now look at this. What?
Teach you. Era voleva andare.
Huh?
La tua negativa nata.
Asli kadar hala orang dua asli kadar apa? Ada?
Vai, devo vedere. Vai, basta che mi fa neanche se lo fratello, ragazzi. Con la domanda
Kadang 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 asal bahasa yang asal mau ke kalau itu kita. No, no. Right. Okay. Now, what is this logistics? I know there is a term called supply chain management. Right? Supply chain management. Don't concept of thema. Here, what we are going to learn about is logistics. Logistics is the how you retrieve, right? How you get raw materials, and after the production, how you are delivering the outputs. Okay, raw materials කොහොමද production එක ගන්නෙ? ඒ ගත්ත production එක produce කරලා distribution එක කරන්නේ කොහොමද? How you are going to distribute these goods to the final customers? How you are going to collect the raw materials? How you are going to distribute the finished goods? This part is what we call as the production. So here, this one, right? This particular product, right? This particular part, right? This particular part, you call it as the inbound logistics. This is what you call the inbound logistics. How raw materials come into the business. And then when it comes to distribution, when it comes to customers, how raw materials are going out. That means the outbound outbound logistics. It's the outbound logistics, right? Inbound logistics and the outbound logistics. You can see types of logistics when it comes to inbound and outbound. Inbound, right? In inbound, you have heavy inbound logistics, and when it comes to outbound, you have heavy outbound logistics. And apart from heavy inbound and outbound, you have reverse logistics systems, and another one is a balanced logistic system, right? Inbound logistics, outbound logistics, heavy outbound, heavy outbound, heavy inbound, and then in between is the balanced logistics. Now, inbound logistics is I said how raw materials come into the business. Again, heavy inbound means getting raw material into the business is difficult, right? Getting the raw materials into the business is difficult. For example, I will say, yeah, Airbus can, right? Airbus can manufacture. Airbus can plane, right? Plane can manufacture the raw materials has to come from different countries, right? The raw material has to come from different countries. So the inbound is a little bit difficult. Again, the engine has to come, right? The engine has to come from Rolls-Royce. The paint has to come from another country. The electronic has to come from China or Japan, right? The other sealings and those things has to come from another country. One country is good at raw materials, right? Country is good at raw materials. This is heavy inbound. And then you start the production, right? Then you start the production. And then you get a plate, right? Then you get a plate. Then the plate like a country, that means that's a country. Deliver කරන්න මොන රටද? එක country එකට deliver කරන්න අපි රටවල් ගොඩනගින් බලුවා plane එක හදලා. ඒක අපි deliver කරන්න ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ආවයි. So it comes to one particular location. The raw materials are different from different locations. You do the production, you get the output. The output goes to one particular location. This is what we call heavy inbound. Like the input processing is difficult compared to the output processing. Okay. And the next one is heavy outbound. Heavy outbound is, for example, for chemicals. Like transporting chemicals is difficult. Right? Chemicals transport करने chemicals, ताऊ chemicals एक mix center है. ये chemicals use करने वाला safety features की करना. It was done now. ये storage करने दिया गया ना methods हो right. Cool लेके दिया गया समारा के cold was in the way. ये लगे different measures थी. So transporting chemicals is difficult, right? So that part we call heavy outbound logistics. But there are some balanced logistics as well. Balanced logistics means, now for example, FMCG, food and drugs, right? Then gonna go, they're like kind of can deal more, right? But Nestle, they have to get raw materials and those stuff from different parts, different farmers, different businesses. That would have taken raw materials done. It was take up the raw materials, process kalla, products adala, outlets whatever they do. And Nestle they did Nestle company got their products. Nestle के किन्होंने जाती बड़ा के पैकेट द बी मदर सापा मदर चार्जन पोलर apa jalan oh tadi ya itu mantannya right Nestle Nestle apa yang namanya Nestle no that is not Nestle ini right Unilever right not Nestle right Unilever right Unilever they have different types of food items in yeah cake locations are cake rasa already booked done. It is a global brand. Today, our product countries are production scale. यार ये आओ उसको ना एक एक आटा वाला बढ़ जाए. ये आपको मैं करेक्ट कर ला. यार ये लंका हम तो ना distribute कर रहा हूँ. लंका जो है लोग हम तो distribute कर. So the thing is, collecting raw materials is also difficult. Sending out the finished product is also difficult. This part is what we call as a balanced logistics system. There are some difficulties here, right? Input and the output both are difficult, right? So that is balance. And on the other hand, you have a reverse logistics system as well. Reverse kata the reverse means any example the gas cylinder. Gas cylinder card customer का customer gas company that is a reverse logistics. The product goes out and the product comes back. Product goes out and it comes back. The same thing happens again and again. So this is what we call a reverse logistics system. Okay, then what we have is benefits, like you can maintain reliability, it minimizes costs, right? Can create competition, right? Can minimize unnecessary employee and machine costs, like product quality and maintain control. So those are some then the benefits. With that, we are done with transportation. Right. Now what you have to do is you have to try all the questions. MCQ questions to get out the MCQs to give a girl. It's a bus. 15 questions. Tina, area karane. Now that again the gun. Oh, I can say this. Yes.
Yes.
Next week, lesson निकालते हैं ना.
Subscribe.
Yeah, Samsara was to be 14 places. The location is good. अरे हम में बात करना है What is the first question then? First question. MCQ correct? For a balanced development of transportation, it is necessary to fill in the MCQ. Fifth one. Develop way, terminal mode, and power. Yes, fifth one. Second one, the most appropriate mode of transport of fuel from Colombo Harbour to oil refinery at Sapakanda are fourth one. Yeah, pipelines, trains, and buses. Pipeline, trains, and buses. All I'm not done with. Ship any? Rata method. It's not method, right? It's in the land area, ships and the better. Aircraft and the best. So the best option is fourth one, pipeline, trains, and buses. Pipeline කියන්නේ තෙල් බට තියෙන තෙල් නල ඒ වලින් ඈ. From the following, which is the correct statement related to a transportation system? Bus station is an element of transport terminal. Yes, correct. Outbound logistics starts from the producer and ends with the customer. Right? Outbound logistics starts from the producer and ends with the customer. Email and mobile phones are highly popular communication media among people and within the business community. What are the reasons for this popularity? Why did email and mobile phones are popular. Email, mobile phones popular. The global reach, right? Ability to contact, right? Ability to contact with anyone around the world using mobile phones, emails. So that is one reason. Global reach. Number two, fast and efficiency, right? Efficiency and fast. So you can take that answer as well. What I describe current point, right? Then, one are the cost benefits, right? The cost benefits, okay. Then the time, right? Ability to contact with anyone at any time, right? So that is also another one. And then the easiness, right? Like use karna easy and communication methods data, right? So you can take that as well. Explain separately the response and feedback included in the communication process. Response and feedback. How to explain that? Response is the initial reaction that comes to the mind of the receiver when he gets the message. Feedback is the reply that the receiver sends to the sender regarding the message. Right? It's a reply. Name an oral communication method and explain advantages of oral communication. Meetings, right? Meeting is oral communication method. Advantages table advantages, right? Ability to exchange information in detail, right? Ability to like the close relationship between the sender and the receiver, right? ඒ වගේ benefits තියෙනවා table එකේ තියෙනවා ඒවා ලේසි. මේක අමාරු question paper එකක් නෙමෙයි. මේ question ඔයාලට එන questions වලින් ලේසිම එකක් තමයි මේ. right? ඔයාලට එන questions වලින් ලේසිම එකක් තමයි මේ transportation and communication is one of the easiest. ඒකත් අමාරුයි කියන්නේ think හිතලා බලන්න මා ඉන්නේ කොච්චරක් කෙලවෙච්ච ස්ථානයකද right මට කොච්චර කෙලවෙලාද කියලා හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන් right what is meant by informal communication? What is informal communication? It's a communication, right? It is a form of communication without any hierarchy, right? Hierarchy එකක් නැහැ. You don't have any what structure, right? You don't have any you don't have to maintain any what you call right? It can be anonymous as well, right? Informal communication, it can be anonymous as well. දැන් ගන්නකො මෙහෙම දැන් මට කවුරු හරි ෆෝන් කෝල් එකක් දීලා කියනවා නමක් ගමක් නැහැ හෙලෝ කවුද කින්නවන්ද කියලා අහද්දී නමක් ගමක් නැහැ right ඒත් නම් මිනිස්සේ ඔයාලා පන්තියේ මෙහෙම ළමයෙක් ඉන්නවා එයා මෙහෙම වැඩක් කරනවා කියලා පොඩි ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් එකක් දෙන්න. So that is informal communication, right? That is informal communication, right? මෙහෙම වැඩක් වෙනවා ඔයාලා පන්තියේ මේක පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න කියලා ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් එක. So that is informal communication. Or else අපේ දැන් WhatsApp group එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ WhatsApp group එක formal communication. task තියනවද නැද්ද කියන මන්ද ඒකේ දාන්න. ඊට අමතරව දැන් ඔයාලගේ වෙන වෙනම groups තියෙනවානේ. දැන් අර ඔයාලගේ තියෙන group එකක් බල වෙන වෙනම groups තියෙන්නේ. අන්න ඒ groups හරි informal. right? So that ඒ හදලා තියන්නේ ඔයාලගේ අතල්ලකට. ඔයාලගේ අතල්ලකට ඔයාලා group හදාගෙන ඉන්නවා. ඔයාලා chat back කරනවා. So that is your thing, right? So that is what you call a informal communication. ඉස්කෝලේ notices එනවා, right? ඒක formal. Apart from that ඔයාලා ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා call කරනවා යාළුවන්ට those are informal. Right. So then what is informal? It is a communication method where you do it for your personal pleasure, right? Where you don't have any boundaries or where you don't have any hierarchy to transmit communication. දැන් okay දැන් අපි කියමුකෝ සමහරලාට ඉස්කෝලේ classroom එකේ teacher student but ගෙදර ගියාම අර නාන්දේ වගේ right නාන්න. So that is informal. No, I'm not telling it is correct or wrong, but that is informal communication. Like that's a personal space. That is personal space, right? right? ඒකට right මොකෙන්ටත් ඒක හරියට කියන්න බෑ. Because they are adults, their personal space ඉවරයි. Right. But පන්ති කාමරේ හොඳයි. පන්ති කාමරේ teacher and student පන්ති කාමරේ teacher student. ආච්චිට හාල්. හා? ගෙදර කරන පන්තියට කරන්න බෑ. හරි. Okay, next question. That's great. Hurry. The next question is about a head mechanic in garment factory had a discussion with his subordinate mechanics gave instruction to minimize machine breakdown. From an observation made after 2 weeks, the head mechanic understood that machine breakdowns are not yet declined. Due to the fact that the mechanics have not understood this instruction, what could be the reasons for the mechanic's failure to understand the instruction given by head mechanic? Head boss දුන්න instructions තේරුම් නැති ඇයි? There can be language barriers. Right? ඒක මාත්‍යා ඒක කැඩිලා කියලා කිව්වම ඉතින් අනිත් උන්ට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. තව not understanding the technical terms, right? Talking in technical jargons, right? Some employees they don't understand technical jargons. Due to that, you're unable to conduct the repairs, right? Tamnal. The speech is not clear, right? Talking, right? You are not talking clearly, so you don't understand. And there are reasons, possible reasons. Verbal communication is more effective than written communication. Do you agree? You can agree or you can't agree. Yes, the no. Verbal is better than written. Yes. Based on that, you can write. Wala written verbal හොඳයි නම් verbal හොඳයි කියන පැත්තට ලියන්න. ඔයාලා written හොඳයි කියන පැත්තට ලියනවා නම් written හොඳ පැත්තට ලියන්න. Written හොඳයි නේ. Based on the context changes. Now, if you are going for agreement or something, then written is better. You have proof. But if you are talking for like pressure, like ආතල්ලකට කතා කරගෙන ඉඳි එහෙන් ලියුමක් යනකම් බලන්නේ. මේ පුදුම කරදරයක්. Right? යාළුවා කතා right? They have for like formal tasks වලට written යන එක හොඳයි. Right? Verbal methods වලට වඩා formal මේ procedure එකේදී written මේ communication is good. Then තව I written මේ verbal හොඳයි compared to written. Why verbal is good? එහෙම ලියලා තියෙන සමහර කට්ටිය. Why verbal is good? Able to get closer to the send and the receive, right? The send and the receive, they get close. The messages are confidential. කිව්වොත් තමයි එළියට එන්නේ. Right? මටත් කියන්නේ. Right. Then what else? Sorry. Those things, reasons 4ක් විතර ලියන්න. Right? Reasons 4ක් විතර ලියන්න. ඔයාලා yes ද no ද කියලා දාන්න ඕන, right? Agree වෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා ලියන්නත් ඕන. If you are agreeing, why? If you are disagreeing, why? Next, 4 factors that has to be considered when manager delivers a lecture to his staff. The politeness, the clarity, the accuracy of the information that is shared, and what else? The completeness of the message, right? So those are the 4 things. The 4 factors do a explain just write 4 factors. Mention 4, not F4. Mention 4 disturbances that could influence the effectiveness of electronic communication between two persons. What are the disturbances that you have for electronic communication? Again, network issues. Yes. Then, just a are not having proper computer literacy, right? Yeah. Poor computer literacy. Computer literacy is poor. network issues වෙන්න පුළුවන්. තව මොනවද තියෙනවද? network issues, right? Using outdated, right? Using outdated technology, right? Outdated technology use කරනවා. අපි use කරන්නේ 5G, right? ගිහිල්ලාගේ පැත්තට ගියාම ඒක 2G. අපි use කරන්නේ 5G, ගිහිල්ලාගේ පැත්තට ගියාම ඒක 2G වෙනවා. Right? So outdated technology. තව lack of knowledge, yeah, ඒක තමයි කලින් කිව්වේ lack of literacy කියලා. මා කියන්නේ වරින් මා කියන්නේ. හරි කුප්ප කතාවක් කියන්නේ. අපි නමක් දාමු. හරි. Okay, next question. Another 5 minutes අරෙන්කො දෙන්න. Mention two advantages and disadvantages of mailing through the internet. Right? What are the advantages of mailing through internet? Internet එකෙන් email කරන එකේ තියෙන වාසි මොනවාද? මොන? What are the advantages that you get by mailing? It's fast, right? It's efficient. The disadvantages මොනවද තියෙන සියාරා? What are disadvantages of using mail? මොනවද කියන්නේ මට අහලා කියන්න. Can hack, right? Okay, there are security issues. Then there can be late responses, right? Late responses. Then ඔයාලා email බලනවාද? දැන් මගේ තියෙන email 4000 ගණන් බලපු නැති. 4807ක් තියෙනවා. Right? So බලන්නේ same thing, right? That මාත් දානනේ. මම දාන්නේ බලහල්. ආච්චිට අහලා ගන්න නැතුව. right. උඹලා බං මේ මොනවාද කියන්නේ? දැන් මගේ ඔය ඔන්ලයින් එකේ එක ළමයෙක් ඉන්නවා මේ මම යාට ෆ්‍රී කාඩ් එකක් දීලා තියෙන්නේ right මොනවාද උඹලාත් අහන්න නැති ප්‍රශ්නේ මනුස්සයා අහන්නේ right ඒ මනුස්සයා ප්‍රශ්න එවනවා සර් මට මේක කියලා දෙන්න මේක කියලා දෙන්න right question papers අහලා එයා චෙක් කරගන්නනලු එයාට answer sheets එවන්නලු right එයා මිනල ගන්නවා right ඒ ළමයි තනියම එකට ගන්න උඹලට මම PDF print කරලා දීලා right paper එක දීලා ඒක ලියපන් කියලා දීලා ලියන්න උත්තරක් දීලා ඔබ paper එකේ answer sheets උත් එවලා oh how cute right oh no උඹව කතා කරන්න නැති නිසා මට එපා right right ඒ ළමයි ඒ අහලා එකට ගන්නවා අනේ මට මේ ටික කරලා දෙන්න මේ ටික කරලා දෙන්න right මේකට උඹලා මෙලෝ රහන්නේ ඔය කුප්ප කතා කියකේ ඉන්නවා කොහොමද කියුස් right මාහැර අන්සියල්ලක් මේ අඹගස හැර තවත් අඹගස් තිබේනේ අන්න ඒ වගේ
What?
දොළදොගද හරි Southern Highway is a remark sorry what sort of improvement can be seen in highway and railway transportation system in Sri Lanka within the recent past? What are the improvements that you can see in highway and railway transportation in the recent past? මේක එහෙන පරණ question එකක් මේ අර මේ highway එක හදපු දවස්වල ආපු question එක. මේකයි ඔය position. There are expressways, right? There are expressways built, right? The new right? New what you call right? The railways are now being what you call repaired, right? Railways are repaired. And what else? Online payments කරන්න පුළුවන් දඩ එහෙම ගහුවම online payments කරන්න පුළුවන් නේද? අන්න ඒවත් එක improvements තමයි ඒවල තියෙනවා, right? Railways වල highways වල තියෙන improvements තමයි ඒ. And maybe you have charging stations everywhere, right? Those are some improvements. Okay. Right. Next question. Mona, what happened? අමාරුද? බඩගිනිද? නෑ. අපා මටත් බඩගිනි. දැන් මම 4කට ඉඳත් ඕනේ ආයෙ. හරි. The next question. The Southern Highway is a remarkable development of Sri Lankan transport system in the recent past. Explain how these highways could enhance the efficiency. ඒක ඕනේ, right? Explain the role of transportation for economic and social development of a country. How transportation is helping economic and social development? Economic development එකට social development එකට දැන් transportation කොහොමද fit කරන්නේ? හා? ට්‍රේඩ් තමයි. කියපන් ඒ ට්‍රේඩ් එක නවත්තන්න බෑ. ට්‍රේඩ් එක ඉතුරු කියන්න කියන්නේ. එක වචනකින් කියන්න බෑ නැත්තම්. සතියක් විතර ඉස්පිරිතාලේ ඉන්නේ. කියන්නේ ට්‍රේඩ් මොනවාද? Ability, right? Due to the development transportation, right? Now you are able to do trade transaction among different provinces, right? Among different provinces, now you are able to do trade transaction. Is Lauren? I am looking at that. I have to wait them අද ගෙදර කියලා කාලා ඉන්නත් බෑනේ. කන්න යන්නත් බෑනේ. ඔව් කන්න බෑ. හා ගෙදර කියලා කන්නත් බෑනේ. ඉතින් මම දැන් දෙකමාරටකන් ඉන්න ඕන. හා ඉතින් මම ඉතින් එතකන් මාව තියාගෙන ඉන්න. Right. Tamana, right? What are the other ways that there can be economic and social development? Due to development of transport, rural people, right? The people in the rural villages can go to urban cities, right? එතන lifestyle development එකක් වෙනවා. තව Yeah, I can hear. I have sharp ears. Hari, right? What else? Amisha, answer එකක් කියන්න. මම අද දවසට වචනයක් කියන ඇහුන්නේ නැහැ මම. Hi. Give me an answer for that question. How can transportation involve for the social and economic development? Then trade ගැන කිව්වා, urbanization ගැන කිව්වා. තව question කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? එන ගහපන් topic. Right. ගෙදර ගිහලා හොයන්න. Right. Compare the advantage and disadvantage between highway railway. ආයෙ කෝඩ් නෑ. ඒක ලේසි. ඒක දන්නවනේ මේ ඕකේ මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? highway එකට එකක් දාන්නවා, railway එකට තව table එකක් ගහුවා. highway එකේ තියෙන advantages මොනවාද? railway එකේ තියෙන advantages මොනවාද? In related to transporting vegetables, in related to transporting vegetables, what are the advantages and disadvantages that we have? Okay. State two advantages that a businessman can gain using GPS when transporting. GPS වයින්ගේ වාසනාවක් තියෙනවා. One is ability to track the goods and services that you are transporting. So, ability to identify routes, right? අලුත් පාරවල් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. Go in the right path. Yes. But I am right path, ne? Go in the right path. Interesting answers. Describe for suggestions with reasons that you make to increase transport of goods by train. Hmm? Describe for suggestions with reasons. මට reasons ඕනේ නැහැ. Suggestions හතරක් කියන්න. Railway transport develop කරන්න පුළුවන් suggestions හතරක්. දැන් ඔයාලා කෝච්චිය යන එක මිනිස්සුනේ.
නෑ මිහිල්ලම
ටිකක්
කෝච්චි එකේ තමයි yes you got it හරි
ආ?
කැන්ටින් දෙක
How to develop train railway develop කරන්න කොහොමද? කියන්න right. ඔයාලා තමයි කියන්න ඕන. ඔයාලා තමයි මේ මොනවාද? මේ පසු පරපුර. By construction by now railway තාම අපිට තියෙන්නේ මොනවාද? සුද්ධ හදලා ගියේ. සුද්ධ හදලා ගියම tracks එක තමයි තාම තියෙන්නේ. අලුත් areas වලට expand වෙනවා right? Expansion of railway into new geographical areas. ඒක ඕඩ. තව මොනවාද? train එකේ තියෙන facilities වැඩි කරන්න කියන්නකෝ. Wi-Fi දීලානේ, TV screens දාලා දීලා, AC කරලා. You can write any imaginative answer related to this. ඇත්තටම වෙන්න ඕනේ නෑනේ. suggestions නේ. ඔයාලා මොනවාද හිතන්නේ? right? train ticket එක තව prices අඩු කරන්න. ඒ නැත්නම් අඩුවට තව අඩු කරන්න කියලා. අවුලක් නෑ. තව මොනවද? තව තව suggestions නේ අවුලක් නෑ. State for weaknesses of train transport service in Sri Lanka. Suggest solutions to rectify those weaknesses. Train transport එකේ දකින්න weaknesses මොනවාද? Not coming on time. Right? කෝච්චි එක පාට නම් 5යි කාලෙ විතර කෝච්චි එනවා. ගොඩාක් වෙලා යනවානේ. අපි ගිහින් නැහැ කෝච්චියට අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. අපේ ගේ ඉස්සරහින් කෝච්චි යනවා ඒ නිසා දන්නේ නැහැ. ඔව් මගෙන් අවසර අරන් යන්නේ. ගේ ගාලා මෙතනින් අපි යන්නද කියලා අහලා යන්නේ. හරි. Weakness of train transport is not having facilities like okay washroom facilities ඒ මොකුත් හරියට නැහැ. ඒතර ඒව හරියට හදන්න ඕන. දැන් train මොනවාද? engines තියෙන්නේ මොනවාද? මේට අවුරුදු 50කට 60ක් 70කට විතර කලින් පරණ engines. Right? So electric train වලට convert කරන්න පුළුවන්. E-trains. So you can talk about right those answers. Right? Those are some solutions. හරි. දිල්ලුනේ නේ. දිල්ලුනේ. නිමද? තියෙනවා. Papers are coming on the way. දැන් කාටද හතෝනේ? හතෝට කට්ටිය අත උස්සන්න. ඔයාලා තුන්දෙනා බෙදා ගන්න. share එකක්ද? Right. So we'll do the trade lesson on the next 2 days, and then after that we are completing grade 12. So we can wind up for the day. Thank you and God bless. Undo. May Amisha, Mona, Nana give very good burn, right? Come up with the idea. Right? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Make in the back again. Huh? Oh, Marina, what I right now, the thing is, I was planning on doing a small testimonial video, right? Testimonial video. Testimonial here. I'm getting the feedbacks of you regarding how the class works. Like, paper then another month, in the month. Your feedback. That is the testimonial, right? Huh? ඒක තමයි right. So paragraph ඕනේ මට නිකන් තප්පර 30කට පොඩි voice cut එකක් දෙන්න තප්පර දෙක voice cut එකක් දෙන්න තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Right? So that is the thing. Yeah, you have to tell, okay, so this is the thing. Now we came to the class. So this is how the class works. After the class, so you have to tell, okay, so dude, by coming this, video. Yeah. නෑ වයිට් එක මෙතන ඉන්න ඕන දැන් ඔය කට්ටිය හැමෙන් ඉන්නවා ළමයි දෙක කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා රයිට් මරිනා විතරයි හා යා නෑ ඔයාලා කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා රයිට් ඔයාලා කට්ටිය පැත්තක ඉන්නවා මෙයා විතර මෙතන දීලා දීලා ඒ ළමයි සුවිලෙන් ගන්න ගන්න කට්ටිය වටේ ඉන්න යාලා හොඳ වෙලා දෙන්නේ ඉතින් oh, can I have personal experience second key? Right? We have personal experience regarding how the theory and revision class works. Right? So you can talk about your honest opinions. Bainam pula, baine vandana, baine vandana. Right? So other bag mandana. Next take करके वहाँ पर क्या करना right? So try something. එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්නේ තුනේ කමන්නේ නැහැ. තුන්දෙනෙක් වගේ හිටියොත් අවලන්නේ. අමේෂයි මොනේ වයින් අමේෂයි මොනේ කරිනේ. මෝ ගමු. හා? හරි බං උඹලා දෙන්න යහල්ලා උඹලා කතා කරනවානේ. කට තියෙනවනේ දැන් මේ බලහන්. The thing is, I'll be taking 3 of you. Taking for the ticket down. Tundana ඔක්කොම කරහල්ලා. අවුලන්නේ. ආසේ මම කෑලි කපලා මම දෙගානට let's go. Then बनाने वाला marketing करना influencer in right බලන්න අහන්න නේද මම කියන්නේ. දැන් කම්. So ඊට පස්සේ බලමු. දැන් ඔයාලා ට්‍රිප් ගන්නවනේ ට්‍රිප් එක යන්න. දැන් යාට ට්‍රිප් එකක් යන්න කිව්වොත් එනවද කවුද? නෑ මෙයා Hey, Baladan, now the thing here, now I can't sponsor the entire thing because I'm not in a financially good condition at the moment. So, yes, exactly. I mean, now, not in the near future. I mean, it's not in the name. Destination මෙහෙම පන්තිය කට්ටිය කතා වෙන කතාවයි. නිවාඩු දවසක් බලන්න. නිවාඩු වැටෙනවා. දැන් මාඩු වැටෙනවා. නිවාඩු වැටෙනවනේ කවදා හරි. බලන්න ඒද සන්ඩේ මන්ඩේ දෙක.
destination මම කතරක් විතර දාලා එයාට කේක් පටන් ගත්තා.
වාලකට ප්‍රශ්නේ නෑ මේ destination so නෑ නෑ මට දන්නේ නෑ මම ආන්සර් කියවන්නේ නෑ. ඔයා කියනකොට නෑ කියලා. අය ඔයා ඉතින් ෆෝන් එක දිහා විතර WhatsApp බැලුවොත් නෑ කියලා සර්. දැන් මේ පාලකයන් පාලවල් පපන් තියෙන කට්ටිය රවාල වැඩ පුළුවන් කට්ටිය වෙන වැඩ කරේ. තියෙන වැඩ පුළුවන් කට්ටිය බැරි කට්ටියට උදව් කරන්න. right මම කියනවා ඉතින් ඒක ඔයාලගේ වැඩක් ඔයාලා වැඩ උදාහරණ කරන එක. so සියවතින් අත තියෙන හැකියාවල එහෙම පාටනම් දිනනවා නේද නේ අර කියන්නේ මෙඩිකල් අර මෙඩිකල් කරනවා නේද ඉන්ඩිපෙන්ඩන්ට් වුම තමයි පාර පයින් පොඩ්ඩක් කරන්නේ ඉන්ඩිපෙන්ඩන්ට් වුම පාර පයින් පොඩ්ඩක් පයි ඒ වගේ තමයි okay so බලන්න like God bless you bye bye ना देना अरे वाला का पार्टी है नहीं God bless you